Yeah, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Sean P, the Bluff God, and we back at it again for another One Piece stream. Today we talking about chapter 1014. Dang, we made it a long way. The Ham, titled The Ham. So cover page, we get Law. Basically, look like he's meditating, and you see a sign saying "Capture the Tiger" on the screen.
If there was a button I could press this.
Oh shit! Phone hacking. Wow. It said "Capture the Tiger" on the screen, and he basically captured the tiger. Guess he used his ability to snag it out. But yeah, all right. So a lot of stuff happened this chapter. Like this chapter. The chapter was wild. Like I had to read it twice because it's just so much that kind of just so many moving pieces going on, and I had to reread it to catch a lot of things. And even then, I feel like I kind of missed some things. But all right. So we basically start off the chapter. We got Kaido talking about, I guess, how Luffy infused the color of Supreme King in his body, and I'm thinking, is it like a new move that Luffy used that we just didn't see? Because we never really seen the actions that I don't remember seeing the actions of when Kaido actually knocked Luffy off Onigashima. But yeah, hold on. Why can I not see? But yeah, so so we see Luffy falling down, and Kaido's Kaido said, "What was that gum gum? What was it called again?" And well, before he said that, he said he tried to use the color of the Supreme King, but he was clumsy and crude, like crude and clumsy. Not really sure what he meant by that. I guess it's more like he didn't really have a full grasp of it. You know, like he really wasn't proficient at using it. You know, that's kind of what I think Kaido meant. Like you're just a novice, you're new, so you have no actual mastery over the ability that you use. Because I'm thinking it might have been an ability that we didn't see yet. Maybe like Gear 5. Maybe he used the King Haki with Gear 4. Maybe created Gear 5 or something. I don't know. Maybe it's some special attack or an awakening. He could have done an awakening. But I feel as though there's something that we missed. And this is what Kaido is currently talking about. And that's kind of why I say gum. What was it again? So it might have been a move. If it's gum, it's usually a move. So unless it's just his normal gum attacks, I'm thinking it could have been something new that we missed with the name gum over it. And but yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. But so then we get Kaido basically saying you couldn't beat Joy Boy either, it seems. Which I want to get into later in the stream, like really dissecting what Kaido meant by that. And so Kaido basically calls out for I always forget how to Bao Wang. I think that's how you say her name, Bao Wang. Kaido calls for her and basically tells Bao Wang like, I want you to broadcast the results of what happened. You know, basically let everybody know I just defeated Luffy. And so then we get, I guess, you know, like Kaido's men basically saying, you know, like, hey, we seen Master Yamato. You know, people just saying they seen Master Yamato while Yamato is basically beating up some of the, beating up men, what it seems. And then we go back to where Momonosuke is, and Momonosuke is reading his father's journal. And he says, "It would seem that I truly must not die." I'm gonna get into that later. Get more into that because I have more thoughts, but I kind of want to go over what happened in the chapter in the beginning. Then I'll go some key things that happened within the chapter that I really want to go into a discussion about. But and Shinobu was like, yeah, of course you can't die, Momonosuke. She's looking at it more of a like, hey, you're the heir to the Kazuki clan, and our job is to protect you. We need you. Wino needs you, so of course you can't die. And then Momonosuke basically like starts screaming, like holding his hand, like his head's in pain. And Shinobu basically asks like, "Oh, what is it now?" And so then we go over back to the performance floor where we see Chopper. We see Chopper basically suplexing Queen, right? Which is like, they are we going to consider this a Chopper feat that he's like going toe to toe with Queen? Like, are we considering this a feat on behalf of Chopper. Get some water. Because we talking Chopper of all people, right? We talking Chopper of all people. Basically suplexing. I'm gonna say suplexing Kaido's like second right hand man, you know, like his second in command. Well, not his second, his like third in command after Kaido, like Kaido, King, and then Queen. At least that's how I would think the hierarchy. Unless there's you know, unless there's like who's second in command is different. Like that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming Queen is third in command, King is second in command, and Kaido is first in command, of course. But Chopper suplexing him, you know. Now, of course, I don't think he's really doing any damage. Like Chopper even says it in a, I want to say the next page. But you got Queen's men basically, you know, they're siding with Chopper. Like, hey, you know, that's what you get, you traitor, talking about Queen. And Queen's on his back, just basically looking at Chopper. And we kind of get a little flat. We also see these arrows in Chopper's back. And we see that they came from Pedro Sparrow. So one thing I was always talking about as far as matchups in like previous streams was who's matching up. Like who's matching up among Marco and Chopper, because a few chapters back we basically seen Marco taking on King and Queen by himself, and then Chopper basically kind of helps Marco, not really help Marco, more so attacking Queen, because you know what he did with the plague rounds, and then we knew after Pedro Sparrow left Wanda and Carrot and Wanda, because he was basically fighting them. After he left them, he said, oh, there's Marco, and it was like he was going towards where Marco was, and my thought was like I was curious if he was going to fight against King and Queen, you know, like even though Big Mom was working with Kaido, I'm thinking like maybe he was going to side with Marco, because you know he had a little partnership with Marco, you know, and I think maybe he might side with Marco, but you know, I think it's clear that he sided with the Kaido, the you know, with Kaido's people, King and Queen, because we see Chopper with those arrows, and he's basically making these candy arrows and launching them into Chopper's back, and or maybe not just Chopper's back, but I think he's launching them in the air, because we also get like some of the fodder guys talking about, oh, he's about to launch the arrows again. Take cover. So I'm assuming it's kind of like indiscriminate. I want to say they're kind of like indiscriminate shots, and yeah. So then we get a little flashback with a conversation with Chopper and Caesar. Caesar basically, you know, critiquing his rumble balls and basically giving him a newer formula that will help him last much longer in his monster point form. You know, I'm starting to feel as though we have to reevaluate Chopper's monster point form as a real as a real threat to be, you know, considered. You know, like for him to be tossing around Queen, and you know, when he's in his monster point form, he might be up there. Like, I don't know, he might be top tier in the Straw Hats. I'm not saying like over Zoro and Sanji and Jinbei, but he might be like behind them. I don't know. But yeah, so while Queen is basically chilling on his back, he shoots a black coffee bean and Chopper basically ducks, avoids it by ducking, and it blasts and hit the other guys behind Chopper. And then again we see Peril Sparrow shooting his arrows, and people are basically like, okay, run, take shelter. Yeah, so, and then this is when we get Bao Wang basically start broadcasting her message. So we get these few panels of Bao Wang basically saying like, the enemy with the highest bounty has lost to Master Kaido, and Kaido is like Master Kaido is basically about to come down and pick off the rest of the stragglers, like everybody else that's fighting on the alliance side. And she basically says Master Kaido you will suffer no repercussions if you surrender. And we get different views of like each of the fights, which I thought this moment was dope because I was always kind of curious what was going on around Onigashima with the other fights, because we kind of haven't really explored some of the other fights. And we see Queen and Chopper still going at it, with Queen basically regaining the upper hand. Like, I don't think Queen didn't have the upper hand. Like, as much props as I do want to give Chopper, I don't think he was really doing anything other than just throwing around Queen. Queen's big, so he's an easy target to be able to grab and slam. But as far as really causing damage, I don't think Chopper was doing anything. It's still impressive for Chopper to have been able to go to toe-to-toe with Queen. We get Marco, and then we get Frankie, and we also get like Jinbei and Who's Who mid-clash, which I thought that was dope, because Who's Who seems to be like holding his own against Jinbei. So he looked like he's probably strong enough to give Jinbei a high diff fight, and I'm excited. I want to see more of this fight. I hope we get a cut to where we get maybe a good half a chapter at least. Maybe, I don't know if we're gonna get a full chapter, but at least half a chapter of Jinbei and Who's Who. I think that would be I think that'd be dope, because I think that's going to be a good fight. I think Frankie and what's his name, Sasaki, or I forgot his name. I don't want to butcher his name, but I think they'll probably have a pretty decent fight. We don't get. Well, yeah, we do. My bad. I'm about to go a little far ahead, but we get a small panel of Luffy like basically sinking to the bottom of the sea, and then we get like Hyogoro. We get Kaido basically talking about like, oh damn, Lin, you made a mess. You made a big mess. And we get Law, we get Big Mom basically talking to Kid like, hey, there go your friend. He just got defeated. Kid like, man, I don't care what happened to that idiot. And we get, of course, Nami and Usopp and Otama. And I missed this panel, but there was one with Robin too. I missed Robin and Brooke. It was Brooke and Robin, because I was thinking like, I wonder what's going on between Black Maria and versus Robin and Brooke. But we did get that, and next to it we get Sanji and Zoro, and right there it said, hey, if you surrender, like if everybody who surrendered their lives will be spared, and you get Sanji and Zoro like simultaneously saying like, screw that, like we dying, we sinking with the ship, bruh. But yeah, I thought that was a cool moment because the Straw Hats, man, they ride or die. They ride or die. So now we're back in the little passageway and we see Kanjuro basically at the entrance of the little passageway, and then you see the little bow wing frog with the eye sign. I don't know what you call like the actual piece of paper it's on, but and they're listening to the announcements. At least Shinobu's listening to it. I don't like Momonosuke. He's like withering in pain, but Shinobu's basically like, hey, y'all hear that? There's that little creepy frog, little surveillance animal. But Kinemon and Okiku are both consoling Momonosuke, and Shinobu was basically like, hey, look over there, and they look over, and then we see Odin again. At this point, it's no shock who it is. It wasn't like it wasn't like last time where people was kind of like, yeah, Odin is still alive, or could it be spirits? There was different theories, but at this point we know it was kind of like I was always of the belief that Kanjuro was still alive at that point. Kanjuro and Orochi. I had debates with people, and some people thought like Kanjuro was dead, and some people thought Orochi was dead, like dead. I was like, I don't believe it. And then when Odin came back, to me that was a confirmation. I was like, I know Odin is dead, and I know that it's Kanjuro. Some people thought it was like spirits and other things. I'm like, nah, that's Kanjuro. Because he could do clones, he could create people, he can, But so we get Odin, and Shinobu's shot. Okiku is already aware that like, oh dang, this is Kanjuro. Momonosuke is excited. He think his father's back. He believes it. He didn't know it was Kanjuro. He didn't know Kanjuro was pretending to beat Odin. And we see Okiku. Excuse me. we see Okiku basically like, oh, that ain't him. And Kinemon basically tries to cover Momonosuke's eyes because he don't want Momonosuke to see Okiku basically slay Odin's image. Like I get it, like it makes sense. Like even though it's not Odin, Kinemon does not want Momonosuke to see this image, this person who's showing this image of Odin get slayed, because then it's basically like, to him it looked like Odin getting slayed. So he covers his eyes, and Kanjuro is basically sticking, like he already gave this trump card. He already showed this. He already showed his hand on this. And Okiku was like, oh, well, you're not going to get me twice. And hold on, I kind of got lost. So, but, Odin's like, hey, remember I took you and Izu in? Like, I took you guys in. And for some reason, Okiku just has, like, a slight, like, doubt. Like, of course, this is something that Kanjuro knows and is something he can play, but Okiku let it get to her, and in letting it get to her, Kanjuro got the drop on her, and she hesitated Chondro basically impales her with his sword. And Chondro points out the fact that he was basically already about to die. So he was like, you fatally wounded me already. So, consider this fair. Like, he pointed that out. And basically stabs her, and Kinemon catches her. Kinemon basically catches her, and she's basically fading away. And she says something. I wanted to basically quote it. She said, this one has failed, but if the fallen snow is melting, then surely the hour of dawn is close at hand. Don't talk nonsense. Kinemon says that after, and he says, "No, I'm sure the light of Wino's dawn will shine all the way down to the underworld." Now I'm thinking, that was just kind of like, yes, when this darkness, like when the light finally does shine on Wano, it will also go deep enough to reach you and all our comrades we lost. It's kind of like his reassuring words to her to not worry that your death is for nothing. That's kind of what I got from that moment. But yeah. So and Okiku basically saying, like, in order for the dawn to arrive, the snow does have to melt. So basically, kind of like if they were the snow, like, there has to be some things are going to end. There's things that are going to go away, and her being one of them, her life being one of them. That's, it could be interpreted. I think that's kind of the gist of what I got from it. But we see Chondro basically about to try to finish off Kanjiro, and we get this dope panel of Chondro basically slicing up, or not Chondro, Kinemon slicing up Chondro. Give me a little water. So, and then in Chondro's death, he basically tells like Kinemon, like, hey, this was also meant to be, like this on this stage that I played, because to him, everything, like becoming a retainer of Odin was all an act. So him being this actor and playing his part as a retainer, he looks at it as a stage. Like actors act on stages, especially like play actors, which he comes from a family of play actors. And so we see kind of some flashbacks, and he based that on the stage. Me and you were friends, like on the stage, and like we were best friends. And he like, so it's only right that you are the one to end me. You're the one, because he just been looking for, he been wanting to die. Like, he thought his end came at the death of Odin, and that was his original, like, grand way of going out, but it didn't happen like that. So if it could happen like that, hey, I died from my closest friend that, yes, I betrayed him. Because if you look at a movie, right, you're looking at it as a movie. When you have a traitor, it's usually, the end is usually the main character. Like if it's his best friend, right? His best friend, the main character's best friend. He betrays the main character, and in the end of the movie, that main character gets redemption through killing his best friend. and it might be like an emotional thing because it's still killing your best friend, but he's the one that has to put an end to his former best friend. And that's kind of what Kanjuro was getting out. Like, if this was a movie or a story, a play, me being the traitor, it's up to you to basically get that comeuppance and end me, you know. So, anyway, we get a big crash, and here's Kaido. Kaido shows up. Where Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Shinobu are, and Kanjuro. And Kinemon basically throws Momonosuke to Shinobu and be like, hey, escape. Like, get the hell out of here. And he basically readies himself to fight Kaido in order to hold Kaido off. And Kaido just straight whack Kinemon on the head. It's almost like he, like, you see the blood splatter, and it's almost like, hold on, okay, so it's almost like Kinemon is done. I think his whole top might be straight obliterated. Like, this has been a very bloody chapter. I will say that it's been a very bloody chapter, and then we see Momonosuke basically sees all this happening. He's crying. He's yelling out Kinemon. And then we see Onigashima reaches the Wano mainland. So they pass the sea finally. Now, there's a lot of stuff that happened there's a lot of stuff that happened in this chapter. You know, and there's a few things I want to talk about. I probably don't want to go into every single thing, but it's a few things. First, kind of want to at what we just ended. Like, I think those, like, I think Kanjuro, Okiku, and it's looking like it's very possible that it's Kinemon. Like, they look to be dead. Like, they seem to have been dead, and like, I feel as though it's just like this being One Piece, you know. Like, we hardly get like deaths within the main timeline of the story, right? Like, we rarely get deaths, like actual permanent deaths, you know. Like, there's been times where we'll get a death and that character doesn't really die, you know. Like, the character survived somehow. There was Pell back in Alabasta who took the bomb and exploded with the bomb, and that should have killed him, but he survived. You know, we got we had, dang, I'm drawing blanks right now, but you know, like, we hardly ever get deaths though. We hardly ever get like just solid straight deaths. And like the last one we got, we I think the only ones we got was we got the guy that Lucky Roo killed in the beginning. We got Ace. Oh yeah, another death that we thought, another character we thought died but didn't was Pound. Lola and Chiffon's mom or dad. And the thing is, like, we did get Pedro. Up to this point, Pedro seems to be confirmed to be dead. You know, he hasn't come back yet, and I think if he hasn't came back yet, then there's really no reason to bring him back. So I think Pedro is dead. And Ace, we got Ace, and then maybe some fodder characters that maybe kind of be assumed to be dead. And also we also had Kanjuro and Orochi's death to Kaido and Okiko respectively. But I think it was meant to, it was purposely meant to look like they died for story purposes, I don't think it was just like, kind of like Pound's death to where he died and all of a sudden he's back, but really no purpose for the story because he's not really a character that means anything to the major story. He's just kind of a side character who means something to like a few characters. But I thought Kanjuro and Orochi was supposed to look like they died in order to kind of, I guess, come back in an impactful way, I think, like Orochi, I think they still meant something. Like I thought there needed to be closure among Kinemon. Like I was always of the belief that Kinemon should be the one to kill Kanjuro. And this chapter that I feel as though this chapter, or if not kill him, at least defeat him. Like that was my belief. This chapter, it happened. We got closure on that. So if Kanjuro is dead, I think that's fine. And I do think I think Kinemon, to me, I'm kind of skeptical on that one. But the way Kaido bashed him in, I don't know. I don't know if Kinemon could survive something like that. So, and that leads me to say, like, Momonosuke just witnessed 3 of his scabbards, 3 of his father's retainers. His retainers kind of inherently all die in that short of a time. Like and that's what shocks me the most probably. It's the fact that Oda seemed to have killed 3 pivotal characters in one chapter, in 3 pages. I think, or maybe it might have been 4, in 4 pages. Oda just doesn't kill characters like that. He just killed 3 of them consecutively, in like less than 5 pages. That's wild, but I think Oda was really kind of planning it to kind of enclose like this. I was always of the belief that at least a few of the scabbards might survive, if not most of them. But it seemed that Oda might actually be killing off all the scabbards. If Kinemon died, I think all the scabbards might be dying. If Kinemon died, I think all the scabbards are dying. Okiko, I kind of believe probably would have died. Kanjuro, of course, after he betrayed. Well, I believe that Kanjuro could have possibly got arrested or something. Like imprisoned. But I was wrong. It seems all the scabbards might be actually dying. Some other things I wanted to that stuck out to me in this chapter was Kaido's knowledge of Joy Boy. Kaido basically said like, like you're not Joy Boy, like you couldn't be Joy Boy. So I'm thinking like, what led Kaido to believe that Luffy potentially could have been Joy Boy? And how much does Kaido know about Joy Boy? Now, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. How much does Kaido actually know about Joy Boy? Where did he get this information? Like, I'm sure he might, like, I guess maybe he could have relayed some stuff that Kanjuro, like maybe Orochi, let Kaido know about. Some of the stuff Odin probably talked about. But I'm just curious to how far his knowledge goes of Joy Boy, and what made him believe that like Luffy could have been Joy Boy, because it's always kind of implied that Roger could have been Joy Boy, but he wasn't because he was 20 years too early, and 20 years later from that, we get Luffy, who seems like the best, like story wise, seems like the best candidate to carry that will of Joy Boy. But yeah, so I'm curious of what Kaido's knowledge of Joy Boy and just history in general, because if he knows about Joy Boy, if he has history of or knowledge of Joy Boy, he might have some knowledge of the Void Century. And I'm curious. Next, we get what did Momo read in Odin's journal? Like there was a part like when he said like, okay, like I really must survive, Like when he told Shinobu that, said it would seem that I truly must not die. While he's reading the journal. Now we all realize, like, all his followers feel as though like he's the heir, so he shouldn't die, so they'll protect him, and he knows that. He knows that they're trying to put him to be the heir to follow Odin, but this is different, This part is different. Like him, how he said it is different. It's like he had an aha moment, like whoa, okay, I finally understand why I must truly succeed my father. Like I know like how y'all look at, like it's kind of like I know how y'all look at me. Y'all look at me as the prince, so by right I'm supposed to survive and basically like get rid of this current regime, and then I'm supposed to have my rightful place at the throne. But it's not like that. It's like he's reading his journal and he's like saying he has like that snap. So I'm curious to know what he read in Odin's journal that made him have that aha moment, And then right after that moment, we get like Momonosuke screaming in pain, like, and I'm thinking like, and why that stood out to me is like, is this the voice of all things? Like, does he sense something coming? Does he sense something coming to Onigashima? Or is this maybe something with Bao Wing, how she's broadcasting the news to everyone and he hears it, like he's on the same frequency as Bao Wing because maybe of the voice of all things, and that's irritating him? Because it's kind of the timing, like he's doing that while Bao Wing is kind of starting her broadcast. So I'm thinking that, or is it maybe some connection that he has with Luffy, where he can sense that Luffy is drowning and he almost feels it, like the danger that he senses Luffy, and he feels that Luffy's in trouble and it hurts him, like that's another thought. But y'all let me know what y'all think is bothering. Let me know what y'all think. And then the next thing I kind of wanted to point out is just a kind of a relevant. It wasn't relevant to the overall arc or the chapter, but it was Chopper and Caesar, like the little flashback we get of Chopper and Caesar, and that really stuck out to me. Like I'm curious to know work relationship? Like, has Caesar taught Chopper some things? You know, some more things. Like, we see Caesar basically helping Chopper improve upon his Rumble Ball, but like, has Caesar done more? You know, has he taught him more things? You know, and I always feel like Caesar kind of had, you know, maybe Oda was trying to give Caesar a window to start redeeming himself, and maybe later him and Chopper might actually be cool. You know, maybe he might actually have a change of tune and want to help the Straw Hats. You know, maybe we'll see him as a Straw Hat ally. You know, I think that's possible. You know, because last time Caesar didn't really want to separate from the Straw Hats. He was kind of like they was leaving him, and they're like, "Go ahead, Caesar, you free." And he was just kind of sad, and he wanted to have say his goodbyes, but they didn't care because they ain't like him. He's a bad guy to them. So, you know, but he was just having such an emotional separation of them, which I thought was pretty funny. But I'm thinking, like, what's the future of Caesar? You know, will his relationship with Chopper come back into play later in the story? And then finally, I want to talk about who will save Luffy, and what's the fate of the Alliance now that Luffy is basically sinking to the bottom of the sea. You know, what's the fate of the Alliance? Like, are they going to keep fighting until everybody dies, or are more people going to die because of it? You know, is Luffy going to make a rebound, or are they just going to be defeated? And I like this. I like this because I've always been a believer that Kaido was going to defeat the Alliance. You know, like, I didn't believe that Luffy could defeat Kaido 1-on-1. And when they set up that 1-on-1, I'm like, I think this is setting up for a defeat for Luffy. But Oda was writing it in a way where it's like, you know, we going to make it seem like Luffy actually has a shot. Like, he was like punching Kaido, knocking him down, rocking him, and it's like, we going to see if, like, Luffy might act like he's setting it up, making it seem like Luffy actually has a chance, you know. And first he was making it look like the Alliance actually, like, you know, the supernova, and then Luffy was like, "Hey, y'all leave. I got this. I got him now, and I got him figured out." And so, you know, it's looking like, oh, Luffy might actually have a chance. Sanji and Zoro's Zoro's telling Sanji, like, yeah, I think he got him. I think he got what it takes to defeat Kaido. And now look at this. Things change in a matter of a couple chapters, and now Luffy's in like sinking to the bottom of the sea, and like, I think this is the catalyst for a big defeat of the Alliance. How they get out of it, I don't know. But I think this is a catalyst of that. And I wanted to kind of go back to a theory I kind of said earlier. Not a theory, but a kind of a thought. You know, talking on the topic of who will save Luffy. I said, before I get to it, let me get a little water. I said that Momonosuke, right, when he was like going in pain because he, you know, like he was feeling something in his head that was hurting him. I said that it's possible that he's using this. This is why I think, you know, when I said those three options, I said maybe he's hearing nose guy though. maybe he's hearing something that's arriving to Onigashima, right? Maybe he hears it because he has the voice of all things. Could be like Zoe or something. I don't know. But, and I said maybe it's on its way to Onigashima. And then I said something about like maybe he's kind of in the frequency of Ba Wing, and that's kind of causing him pain, like Ba Wing's broadcast. And then I said something else. I can't remember what the other theory was. It was his connection with Luffy. It was his connection with Luffy drowning. Like Luffy's drowning, he feels that. I'm thinking it could possibly be the first option and I feel as though that first option of maybe something arriving to Wano or arriving to Onigashima, like maybe they sense maybe Momonosuke senses them and they're going to save Luffy. And I feel as though I just came with who it possibly could be. Like, I'm kind of thinking maybe the Fishman. Possibly. Like, I know Jinbei didn't come with the Fishman. And it might not even be his crew. It might be like, maybe not King Net. I don't know. You know, maybe it could be, Shirahoshi. King Neptune, Shirahoshi, and they're bringing their Fishman army and they save Luffy. Maybe use a Sea King to save Luffy since they're already in the water. So they already can save Luffy, It could be Zoe making its arrival. Maybe Zoe could scoop Luffy up and save Luffy. Man, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who it could be. Or I don't know what's bugging Momonosuke. Those are kind of my little theories of what it could be. But yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the chapter. Really enjoyed the chapter. A lot was going on, but other than that, it was one of those chapters where I felt as though I did have to read it, twice to really catch everything. All the little things, that easily missed, But yeah, so anyway, like, comment, subscribe. What you guys thought about the chapter? What did you guys think about the chapter? Let me know. What do you think Kaido knows? How do you think he know it? How do you think he know these things? Like, who told him this information? Where did he get the information about Joy Boy? What do you believe Momonosuke read in Odin's journal that made him made it finally click to why he has to live, why his survival is so important? I kind of think it's just maybe has to do with maybe not opening the borders, maybe that, and helping Luffy, helping Joy Boy succeed. Help at the end of the day, Momonosuke might be a key player of helping Joy Boy succeed. And then, Chopper and Caesar's relationship. What you think of it? Who do y'all what do y'all think is going to save Luffy? Like, who's going to save Luffy? Or is this the end of the story? Is Luffy done and it's the end of the story? And what's the fate of the alliance? Is this war basically over now that Luffy's gone? And what are your thoughts? Like, what stuck out to you in this chapter? And what did you think of the chapter? Make sure you comment. Let me know. Let's start this discussion. Let me know. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that bell for notification. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Blumpfgod. If you don't know how to spell that, read the channel. Read the name in the channel. So we have another chapter, and we don't have a break. So we'll be back here next Sunday, discussing chapter 1015, whatever the name of that is. But until then, y'all have a wonderful week. I'm out of here. Y'all take it easy. Peace.